Okay, well, hi, hello. Thank you too for joining me today. We're going to do a little Wednesday roundtable, have some discussions about kind of how dispensaries can prep for Green Wednesday. I'm Court. I'm on the marketing side here at Rank Really High, and I'll be doing the facilitating of this conversation with our two digital strategist experts. So I'll give you both a chance to give yourself a little introduction. What's your name? What's your role?
Yeah, so I'm Gina Pastorello. I'm the Director of Digital Strategy here at Rank Really High. I've been with Rank for about 2 years now. Been in the cannabis industry for 5 or 6 years. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the conversation today.
Right on. And good morning. I'm Andrew Sharp, Digital Strategist here at Rank Really High. I've been with the team now for coming up over 6 months, but been in the cannabis space for about 9 years now.
Beautiful. And this might seem like a silly question for anyone who's watching this video, but for anyone who doesn't know, what is Green Wednesday and why is it such a big deal for dispensaries?
Yeah, so in a lot of ways, Green Wednesday, you can think of that as the cannabis industry's Black Friday. So typically that's when you have some of the highest volume sales outside of, say, 420, where people are really stocking up for Thanksgiving, getting good deals. And, especially stocking up too for if family's going to be coming over and things like that.
And then kind of with that note, like how does Green Wednesday compare to 420 from your perspective? And I know, Andrew, you come from like working on that retailer side, so you're going to maybe have that experience, but Gina, even what you've seen like from our clients, how do those two holidays compare?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Court. So Andrew, like you said, is going to have more of the retail side experience, but just from my past Green Wednesdays here, I think everyone knows about 420, right? Even people that aren't in cannabis know what 420 is, know it's the biggest sales day for the year, but not everybody knows Green Wednesday. But when you say, oh, it's the Black Friday of cannabis, people understand. So I think over the years, it's gotten definitely more and more popular, but I do think it's creeping up on 420. I do think 420 is still the highest revenue day for most dispensaries. But what I've seen is just, it is starting to mirror corporate Black Friday, which is wonderful, right? Because that's kind of what our whole purpose at Rank Really High is to mimic and make a shopping experience like the Fortune 100 online retailers. So to see that some of our dispensary partners are utilizing that strategy, and there's Green Week. Some are starting on November 1st and having month-long deals that kind of gradually increase to the day of Green Wednesday. I think is really neat to see that evolution.
Beautiful. Anything to add there, Andrew?
Yeah, I think, Gina hit the nail on the head. I think the one of the biggest things I've kind of seen in the shift in strategy for Green Wednesday is really kind of making it, taking the specials and kind of spreading them out over a week. So you're kind of hitting everyone who's come in, so you can do deals before that kind of Green Wednesday day if folks are traveling out of town. So it is one where it's great to actually kind of see a little bit more spread in the deal kind of focus, kind of mirroring some of those kind of Black Friday best practices from those Fortune 100 companies.
And kind of a great segue from your kind of ending there. When do you think dispensaries should start planning for Green Wednesday? We're having this conversation at the end of October. I'm not sure if you all have already been having conversations with their clients about this holiday, which is coming, near the end of next month. So when do you start planning?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely planning is one where the farther away you can kind of get from a date to plan in advance, so the better things are actually going to get kind of implemented. So I always like to kind of think about, you're kind of wrapping up your planning by the end of the prior quarter is what I would probably say best practices.
Yeah, I'd agree, Andrew. The earlier the better, especially with a holiday like this. So yeah, there's holidays throughout the year, so breaking it into quarters. So right, like mid-September, end of September, you're wrapping up summer, kind of leaning into Halloween, Green Wednesday, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas, New Year's, right? So really being able to go into Q4 with a framework for those holidays will set them up for success.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, the earlier the better on most things, I think. With that in mind, when do you start recommending dispensaries start like Green? Maybe they're all planned, right? At the end of the last quarter, they're ready for it. But when should they start talking about it?
From my point of view, I think again, looking at Fortune 100 companies, right? I've started to get Black Friday flyers in my mail already, starting like last week. So I don't think, end of October is too early to start teasing it, right? And then come November 1st, really leaning heavy into that, especially if you are doing like a green month, right? Then you definitely want to get that out earlier, so in October. But if you're just doing green week or anything like that, I think teasing it in October and then really ramping up, doing blog posts, putting a banner on the site, really like specials coming, right? Really leaning into that in early November is the timeline that I've seen.
Yeah, and I think I'd echo that sentiment. And I think definitely being able to kind of preview and kind of give customers a heads up in advance of those kind of big deals, I think it's always great. I think especially too, where if you have a loyalty program, you can kind of tease out different promos or even give exclusive promos to those kind of loyalty customers and kind of just get them engaged kind of before those kind of big weeks when things are really kind of just heads down and just kind of getting through the week in terms of the actual operations.
Andrew, that was a really good point with the loyalty program, right? So again, looking back at corporate or Fortune 100, 500 companies, what they do, they have doorbusters that they promote online in flyers, everything like that. I mean, it can be a simple doorbuster of first 100 orders get double loyalty points, right? Like something like that. It's not a huge lift, but as a consumer, I'm like, oh my gosh, that means I need to get in there early, see what they've got. All of that gets me excited.
I love that. That's a great idea. And when we're talking about kind of like specials and idea building when it comes to a big holiday like Green Wednesday, what kind of like data should dispensaries be using either from last year or even maybe the previous quarter to help them make some of these decisions?
Yeah, Andrew, I'd love to hear yours from previous experience, and then I'm happy to hop into.
Yeah, so I think one thing I like to keep in mind is average cart for the holiday time, because it's one where typically as a retailer you're competing against all your other kind of retail dispensaries. So everyone has, strong deals going on typically that kind of week. So I think a big part of it is everyone's going to have strong deals, but to really not erode your margin and actually kind of think about deals to raise the average basket, to be able to kind of add these kind of add-ons, you hit a certain spend threshold. So it's not kind of like, you're running strong deals, but you're still able to kind of capture good margin and get that kind of average basket up. So I think a key part of it is kind of layering in some deals tied to kind of spends. So spend levels, spend and save, those kind of types of promotions I think are great.
Yeah, that's a great point, Andrew. I think too, if you have demographic data to look at, I think that's also super helpful, because on very much like 420, right? Even if someone is new to cannabis, that's a day that they know about. So they're probably going to go to the dispensaries, right? So having not only deals, but products like new to cannabis, try this, or, kind of catering to those type of things, just making yourself a little bit different. Because like Andrew said, everyone is going to be doing deals. So you've got to kind of separate yourself there. And personally, I think looking at last year's data is great as well, like just from a product perspective, see what kind of moved and everything like that. But in the cannabis industry, inventory changes pretty quickly and everything like that. So that can potentially be outdated. So definitely leaning into like the last 30 days, last quarter, see what was your, biggest sellers, biggest categories that for revenue and things like that, and leaning into that data and kind of guiding your Green Wednesday promotions that way.
And when we're thinking about like specials and promos for Green Wednesday, how are y'all thinking about Green Wednesday? And I know we talked about, maybe you have a green month or you're prepping to it, but Green Wednesday versus like the rest of the retail week. Do we see dispensaries still leaning into Black Friday to shop small, Saturday to Cyber Monday, and obviously Thanksgiving? How are you differentiating all of those days? Or are we in the dispensary space?
Yeah, I have some clients, like I said, they'll lead up to a green week, green month. And so like it's early in the month or the week, right? It's pre-rolls, typically $15, they're for $10 today, right? Stuff like that. And then the specials get more and more aggressive as it gets closer to Green Friday and Green Wednesday, Black Friday. From seeing how busy Green Wednesday is and everything like that, yes, you want a very big discount because it is that holiday. That's kind of what people are expecting, right? But you also want to make it easy on yourself, not have a ton of them. It's hard to keep up with. So, maybe during the week you do, oh, these pre-rolls or this product is on special, this is a BOGO, everything like that. Day of, it's, hey, 20% off the store. Something like that. It makes your life really easy. It's something very simple that the POSs and everything can calculate. It just makes everything streamlined, but it's still a really good deal.
Yeah, and I think to add to Gina's point, I think being able to streamline some of the specials as well, especially on those super high traffic days, is really key, because you want to have smooth operational flow as well. You don't want to have the bud tender taking out a calculator to check on the proper discounts, making sure the customers get the best discount. A lot of times it's easy to do kind of like a straight % off and maybe layer in a few other things there. But I think operational flow is a big piece, Gina, as well, because that's one. Customers want to come in and out. They're prepping for Thanksgiving. They got to get the turkey ready and different things. So if you can get them in and out the door as quick as possible with a good experience, I think that's definitely key.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point that maybe, some people aren't thinking about unless you're dealing with those really busy days, right? That you're like, oh, yes, all of the different specials might seem like a great idea, but if it's hard, to like manage if you have high volume, that's not super helpful actually in the long run.
To add to that
ahead.
too, Cord, I was going to say is kind of with that in mind, sometimes too, like just changing the price of a product to be lower price for that day only. So it's not a, like a manual discount or anything. So you can kind of highlight some, super cheap products that are only going to be cheap for that day, and just making that a low price versus like a straight deal. I think that's a great way to kind of make things a little bit easier on the operational side.
Yeah, that just is also making me think about, I know something that we do a lot with our clients is we really are encouraging them to like merchandise kind of like these other top retailers. And we're doing that a lot with like featured brands where, dispensaries are working with brands to like give discounts or to like highlight them on their page. Do we think that's a good idea to maybe partner with brands for certain holidays, or does it tend to get too busy? Do either of you have experiences with featured brands specifically around holidays?
So I think some things definitely, some in-store activations coupled with featuring the brand can make for a nice experience from, digital to in-store. I think definitely being able to partner with a brand or two to be able to kind of call out, hey, Turkey Day essentials from, so-and-so brands, give it a little bit more visibility on the site. I think that's a great way to kind of highlight that brand and kind of give them a spotlight. And then I think just layering in with some in-store support as well, pop-ups, things of that nature to kind of take it full circle. That's some of the best practices I've seen in the past. Yeah.
I think that's a great point, Andrew. I think too, right, you can get a little creative on the holidays with brands. So, right, there's a brand called Green Joy or anything that has green, right? That could be your Green Wednesday brand. Same thing with Black Friday. So it just provides a little bit more creativity, I think, on that end. And also with the busier day also gives you a little bit more leverage when you're working with that brand too.
I loved, Andrew, that you're bringing up that like in-store experience versus that online experience and like having that ability to match things. And I think that's something that feels super cool and unique about, Rank Really High's experience is people really have the ability to make changes to their site. So it doesn't feel just like a menu on some website. It feels like it can feel like their in-store experience as well. So when we're talking about prepping for like a big holiday, what would you recommend? What changes are happening to the website? What are you implementing with your clients? And then also a little bit more specifically, like what are you changing to the homepage? Because I think that the ability to kind of really make decisions and add sections and change things pretty easily is what's really cool about what you can do with Rank Really High. So like, how are you all thinking about that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Court. I think it goes back to just utilizing our best practices overall. And like you said, just kind of updating them and kind of repurposing them for a Green Wednesday, right? So for instance, if you have the specialist carousel slider on your homepage, making sure that those Green Friday or Green Wednesday specials are in there, putting a banner on the page promoting those deals and promoting anything that's going on for the Green Week, Green Wednesday, anything like that. Updating the featured brand, updating sliders for Thanksgiving favorites or, pre-rolls for the walk, right? Like stuff like that. Just really leaning into that. Everybody loves a gimmick, just leaning into all of that for Thanksgiving, I think, is a great way to change up the site and really lead into the holiday.
I'll definitely
love
agree
that.
there. And I think definitely making sure that you can kind of access and shop the specials as easy as possible. Because I think a lot of times when people are expecting these big deals, they've been getting updates via text and email, that being able to come to the site, go right to the deals and shop easily. I think that's definitely going to be the key thing. And to Gina's point, I think the big thing too is, highlighting that, right? Updating some of the names so it's more on theme for the holiday. So people kind of know, okay, this is what, these are what the deals are for the holiday, and these are the kind of items that are being featured and things like that.
What are some tips for even naming some of those specials from like a visibility and SEO perspective? So beyond just like, okay, we can see that on the site very easily, but maybe if they're trying to show up more in other places.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Andrew. You'll have
no,
more
I think,
experience.
I think that's a great question. I mean, I like when you can kind of create a campaign around a kind of name, as you mentioned, Court, where, whether it's, Thanksgiving or a different kind of name like that. I also think just having, the phrases, being able to update, those sliders and things to kind of match what people are searching, I think is going to be huge as well. So people are, Thanksgiving, weed deals, things of that nature, just kind of making that nice and apparent, nice and clean, easy for the customer to understand, I think is key.
Yeah, I also think doing a blog on the specials too to tease them is a great way to get that visibility out before the actual deals are happening.
That's a great call.
That's a great idea. My next question is, let's say a dispensary has not done a whole lot of prep and now we're only like a couple weeks before. Like if a dispensary only had 1 to 2 weeks, what should they prioritize?
Solidifying those deals, first and foremost, getting some good strong deals, and then I think aligning on communication cadence, so making sure you get kind of emails and texts all set and scheduled, and then obviously one of the core pieces too is making sure that your website's updated to kind of just flow with the kind of campaign that you kind of quickly put together.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. With only 1 to 2 weeks left, it's almost like you got to triage a little bit. So yeah, I think the deals and the specials visibility would be the top priority. And then like Andrew said, just making sure that everything on the site is just easy to shop that day.
I also, my last kind of question in this realm is, I love that you talked earlier about kind of those like loyalty programs, and is there opportunity to like give points there? I'm curious, and now it's after Green Wednesday. What are you recommending for, one, what data dispensaries can look at from how Green Wednesday or maybe that retail week as a whole did to like inform other decisions? And how are they keeping people who maybe stopped in just for a really great deal they had on Green Wednesday? How are they getting them engaged and now coming back? Like if you had recommendations for now this post Green Wednesday.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is setting up some retargeting campaigns. So if someone is a new customer to the store, being able to say hit them up a week or two after this kind of Green Wednesday time with another offer to bring them back in store before you kind of get into more of that kind of December holiday season. I think that's definitely key. And I'd say too that reviewing the deals, how they went the kind of week of Green Wednesday, a lot of times if they performed well, you can kind of rinse and repeat them for, kind of Christmas, Hanukkah, that kind of time as well, kind of that holiday season that further kind of closer to the New Year's. So I think a lot of times you can kind of rinse and repeat if things went well for Green Wednesday.
Yeah, I'd also add in looking at when you were your busiest. And most orders, most revenues, like those, setting it into maybe like 2-hour blocks, and kind of see like, okay, from 10 to 12, we were really, really busy, but 8 to 10 was a slow start to the day. So maybe that 8 to 10 is when you do that doorbuster, right? Come in, you get the extra points, you get, pre-roll for $1, whatever it might be. But just looking at that data too, I think could help with the following year, and also just any other holidays that are coming up recently, and kind of making sure that you guys, that our dispensaries are busy all day long. Yeah,
I love that.
Working at a vertically integrated dispensary group in the past, I think one of the things I thought was one of the most successful kind of levers to pull was actually creating custom products for the holidays, and having those actually priced at a kind of low price. So it's kind of like a doorbuster, and it's a unique product that's, seasonal, it's themed. I think that's one of the best products I've seen from vertically integrated groups, at least from my own experience.
I love that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. I have a couple quick fire questions because I know we're wrapping up on time that are maybe just a little bit more silly fun. So if Green Wednesday was a video game, what would it be called?
So I'm a huge gamer, Court, but
or a movie. Oh
no, I picked a video game. I do enjoy Mario Kart. My husband and I play a good bit. So I kind of equated it to that, right? Like it's a wild ride that day, a lot of chaos. Some things can come out of the woodwork, like some blue shells or, something along those lines. And, you just got to load up your cart literally and keep it moving.
Yeah.
I love that.
And Gina, I think you kind of took my answers into Mario Kart as well. And for a name, I guess you could call it Thanksgiving Dash.
That's great.
Yeah, a sucker for alliteration. So
love that.
What's one mistake you wish every dispensary would stop making before the holidays?
Mine would be to not have to triage 1 to 2 weeks before and have an actual plan going into it. I know that's a lot easier said than done sometimes, but it will help in the long run. You won't feel as pressured leading up to the holiday, and it's going to be stressful as it is. You can just go in with a much smoother, more streamlined process for that day, knowing that everything is buttoned up for your website.
Yeah, wow. I think to add to that too, one of the key things to always keep in mind for holidays is your Google My Business and any kind of hours adjustments. So if you have extended hours on any of these kind of holidays, making sure to confirm those. And even sometimes too, where there's so many holidays in these kind of last few months of the year, that to make sure you have to go in and confirm those hours in Google. Otherwise, it might show that it's the hours are not confirmed on that holiday. So it can be a little bit confusing from a customer experience. So that's one I always say, make sure to go into your Google My Business, confirm those kind of times and stuff well before.
Yeah, awesome. And we have a great blog and knowledge-based article about changing your Google My Business hours.
Awesome.
And last question, finish this sentence. A successful Green Wednesday is all about. Yeah, so to me, for a successful Green Wednesday depends on strategy, timing, and just authenticity. So making sure that we're using our best practices, using educational content, right, to get that visibility out before you can do best strains for Thanksgiving, or pairing cannabis products with Thanksgiving dinner, right? Some fun things that will bring that visibility out. And on those blogs, right, you can create curated sliders. You can put the specials carousel on there. You can make those blogs really shoppable for those products. Exclusive limited time offers, again, think like those doorbusters. And then also, it's not only about making money on that day, it's a real opportunity for dispensaries to partner with their community and do, food drives, work with local charities, things like that. So that's kind of what I see it as. I mean, it's not just a sell weed kind of day. It's build that anticipation, make it easy to buy, and give people a reason to choose you.
I love that.
Yeah, that's very well said. I think it's definitely also about efficiency, right? With making sure there's a lot of customers going to be coming through the door. So making sure that experience of kind of checkout and making sure that in-store experience is great, especially if, there's times where customers may have to wait in line, making sure that there's, brand activations in store to kind of make that experience just that much better if they do have to wait.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, both of you. I know we're just over time, but this is such a great conversation. So I appreciate you giving insights. I know you do great work with all of the dispensaries we work with. So it's cool to be able to pass on some of that knowledge to maybe some that we don't. Anyone have anything they'd like to add, or we feel pretty good?
I think all good.
That's good. Yeah.
Beautiful. And we look forward to everyone's very successful Green Wednesdays and whole retail week.